Jared, you will probably have to tilt that camera down a little bit. I am not looking up.
Yes, you are.
She is. That's good.
Thank you.
So friends, I did have another speaker. And I guess I should stand in front of my phone. I did have another speaker, but they were not able to be part of Rotary today. So you get me. So
Yeah.
thank you. And I also invited Steve because I want to talk a little bit about Main Street and what we're doing, because a lot of people are like, what is that mean? What are we trying to do? And some of the things Steve is doing also is lending itself to be part of Main Street also. Brought my poster here. So now I'm gonna put this poster up here. We're gonna have it on the slides. I find this poster very interesting, and I'll tell you why in a second. So Main Street, some of you know what that means, some of you have no clue. But Main Street is what we talked about. We're trying to become part of North Carolina Main Street. That is put on by North Carolina Commerce. But it started with Main Street America. And there's been lots of different things about Main Street America. There's been lots of shows on the History Channel about it, and a lot of HGTV, which I love. HGTV will show some information about Main Street America, because they are taking old buildings, they are repurposing them, revitalizing them, but making them within the same historical as the year they were built. So we're trying to do some of that stuff down in Main Street in Charlottesville also. But I want to tell you about Main Street, about the North Carolina Main Street, and there's 4 principles you have to work with within their realm. And I want to talk about those 4. One is organization. So we have that organization. We have a nonprofit in Thomasville called PACE. You guys know about PACE. But then also now the city has deemed a position as economic development for downtown, which I'm leading up right now. So those 2 together become our organization. So we have that one thing going for us. The other thing is economic vitality. We're doing right now. We're trying to, we're looking at different grants. We're trying to look at different buildings, doing different repurposing. I'm meeting people almost daily to talk about, and that's part of what I'm going to have Steve talk about also. So that's number 2. We're doing that one. Number 3 is design. We have that because we have beautification. We also, I'm trying to work on a streetscape. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in just a second. But we also have ordinances about signs and different things, and we're trying to change the ordinances about signs to make them more historical setting for the downtown area. So that's design. The next one is promotion. We also have promotion covered. Cameron does a great job of promotion as tourism director, and she's done a wonderful thing with our calendar. All of that is feeding back into Main Street. That's one of the things they want us to do. So we can tick that off too. So that's 4 things that they want us to do that we're kind of already doing. So it puts us in a really good position to make a great impression. I go in on March 14th for my first Main Street. Now, there's been some folks from Thomasville that have been to the Main Street program before. Some of our city council members have been, and some of our city employees have been. But it's not, we weren't trying to become a Main Street at that time. We were thinking about it. But now all efforts are go. We want to be part of Main Street. So I'm going down and actually taking a pretty good crowd. Steve's going to be able to go with us. We've got some folks from tourism. We got folks from beautification. We got folks from PACE. We got some community leaders, and we've got some city folks. So we're going to make this big impression. I hope that we have that many people from Thomasville going to Statesville to try to be part of this program. A little scary thing I found about after I actually took this position. Historically, they've always chosen 6 cities each year in North Carolina. They picked 6, become an associate. Now that doesn't mean that you become a Main Street, because once you're chosen, then you still have a whole lot of work you got to do. You got to show that there's buy-in. I have to have you guys buying in on this. We have to have the community buying in on this. We have to see some growth and economic development in downtown. So if we have all those things happening, we after we're chosen, after we're associate, in that 2-year process, then we become actually a Main Street program, which brings brings more grant opportunities. We're able to put signage up that we're a Main Street, we're able to advertise, we're able to be on this map. There are actually people that care about this and that. You can go to the next screen. You can see, let me finish the story about the 6. So it's always traditionally be 6 people that they choose, 6 cities. this year, and it's used 6 every year. Well, this year, I'm at a conference with Liz Parham, and some of you guys know her. And she's saying, well, we're making a change in 2023. We're only going to choose 4. And I'm sweating. I'm like, oh. And that means all the ones that weren't selected last year are going to reapply. So, there's going to be that in the mix too. I mean, oh, I hope we can be one of the 4. Well, then she kept talking. She goes, and we're not going to do 4 every year. We're going to do 4 every other year. So, yeah, maybe a little bit nervous, but like I said, we've got a lot of good strategies going. We're going to show up. They're going to see that we are serious about this. We are working on trying to do a streetscape. Thank you. Tourism is going to actually tourism is going to give us $25,000 to help toward this program. Hoping to get the city to match the $25,000. It'll be a $50,000 project. There'll be streetscape to show the picture. Hopefully, the community can get excited about that. Once we have that streetscape done, there's a lot of different grant opportunities. And we applied for one in December. We didn't receive it from the North Carolina Rural Transformation Grant. I feel like we did a really good job. Eddie does a great job writing grants, and but we didn't receive it. But I did find out some information talking with others. So I've gone to visit a lot of these Main Street communities, and a lot of them are telling me, well, hey, if you have that streetscape in, you have it on paper already, and you're working towards a plan. They know that you're serious, that you've already invested $50,000, and that you've got projects to work from. So because it's all the way up. So that's thank you tourism for the $25,000. I want to tell you a little bit what some things we want to put in our streetscape. And now we took surveys from, we took some tourism people, we took some city employees, we took PACE volunteers and beautification. We all came in a room. Eddie and Michael were there. We wrote down what we thought was important to put in our streetscape. And all list of things that we put in the grant, and these are basically the same things we have right now. If you have something really on your heart that you feel like that needs to be part of the streetscape, please talk to me, because we're in the process of redoing this grant and redoing the whole streetscape. But some of the things we talk about in the community thought was important is train safety. To us, sometimes the train is annoying, but to a lot of other people, the train is our asset. I see it as an asset, except for when I'm stopping at the stoplight and waiting on the train to go by. But for the most part, I consider it an asset. So looking at train safety, and what I mean by that, being able to walk along the train, which people are doing now. We're not really supposed to do that. It's not a safe thing to do. I see people, especially when the weather gets warm, you can walk down Main Street on either side, particularly if you're on the side where cross ties of that, they're laying in the grass, waiting on the train to come by, so they get the best picture. So we want to work on train safety and train watching areas. There would be a fenced in area that you could stand on the platform maybe and watch the train and maybe get that photo you're looking for. Safety fencing along the railroad, way making signs. I hear this a whole lot. More downtown lighting. Don't you love those lights, the Edison lights that go across a lot of communities? If you've been in downtown, I think that's code again. I like that look. So more lighting, more recreational opportunities, which we have great recreation opportunities already. Downtown speaker system, just low music in the background. A lot of these that are listed here already have that. If you look under Piedmont Triad, you'll see I put that we're number 10 there. But I put this up here because I want you to see these are great places. A day trip, a lot of them could be day trips for you. They are great communities to go see what they're doing downtown. So the other thing would be transportation improvements, like adding bikes, sidewalks, making that safe, having a place to park your bike safely, and through pedestrian railroad tunnel, which we're kind of doing that now. But what we want to do as part of the streetscape is bump out in front of the tunnel, to bump that sidewalk out, make it big and round, as well as they will let us fight it. So you feel safe as you enter the tunnel, because a lot of people don't want to enter the tunnel because they feel like it doesn't look safe. But so we're going to try to make that look safer and actually be safer. Sidewalk renovations, we have a lot of sidewalks that are really in disrepair, to get those back up to what we need them to be. My favorite is to have more underground utilities. I love what Pace did years ago on Main Street. I love that look. I would like to do it on both sides of Main Street, maybe down Salem, and definitely Kate's Alley. And then improvement on parking. But the thing I hear everybody saying when I'm showing them buildings, what are like, where's the parking? Where's the parking at? We gotta think outside the box and think about how they used to do it. They always found parking places, and we are looking at other ways to utilize parking and be able to share that with new tenants. We know that's important. But so all these main streets that I've visited, a lot of them, I've got to stand for this microphone. A lot of them tell me that there's a catalyst that they've seen, and almost all of them are telling me three things. One of them is a good restaurant that people can come to downtown, which we all don't like to have that. The other one would be a brewery, because it's like the third space. And the other one is a theater. So some exciting news. Pace owns the old theater. We were trying to sell it. We put it on pause for a moment because we have some community leaders that are very interested, along with myself and Pace, are very, very interested in turning that back into a theater. If you have any old pictures or any connections to what was the Palace Theater, particularly looking for pictures on the inside of it, we have several on the outside, but any stories you have, you can tell us about it. We're trying to go back to that historical setting. This venue would turn into a theater that would be multi-purpose. We would have music. That would be the number one, is to bring music. We're trying to get at least 500 seats in that theater. So that puts you up. If you're in the 200 range, that's a different theater than if you're 500, you can attract more people. So that's what we're working on. I hope that works out. I mean, that's a whole grant thing also, because it's probably a $2 million project. I can't talk anymore because I want Steve to talk to you about some exciting things he has going on with revealing. And the reason, like I said, my person canceled out on me, and I was trying to figure out what we can talk about. And I said, well, I need to tell people about Main Street. And as I was thinking about that, I was meeting with Steve over some property that he owns, or he's trying to acquire downtown. And we started talking about revealing and all the great things that he's doing with revealing. So cool, Steve.
Awesome, thank you. Hello, Rotary. How are y'all? Very good. Just really quick, I think it's really exciting to be here. I have submitted an application to join Rotary, but just a little background on myself. I was a recipient of a Rotary scholarship in Rockingham, North Carolina, when I was graduating high school, and it helped me big time. I was raised by my grandparents. I remember filling out the essay and everything, and then I had to recite the essay at Richmond Senior High School to the Rotary Club. So it was really kind of fascinating that it's this full circle moment, and to be here right now is quite an honor, I have to say. This is a group that we met with 3 days before Christmas. They wanted a tour of Thomasville. We had our holiday pop-up shop right here. We did very, very well. We are bringing new, exciting ideas to this building, which is awesome. But that's one of the heads of the Winston-Salem Foundation, and it was really fascinating to get time with them. They invited us to downtown Winston, and they give credit to a theater, to Sweet Potatoes Restaurant, and to Foothills Brewery. And that's the reason that economic development started happening around Winston-Salem. When you go to visit other towns and you ask them what is their formula, just what Tammy just said, exactly the formula that every town continues to repeat. And I don't drink, just FYI. I'm not someone that would normally hang out at a bar to drink beer, but a brewery is not that. Okay, I just went to the Monkey, it was Goose and Monkey, and I just had to go from my own experience because I wanted to know what it was. Y'all, it was a wonderful environment. And even for people like me that eat a little healthier, you can find cauliflower pizza, which I thought was really kind of exciting. And I hate to tell you, there's not a lot of people who are trying to make bad choices when that place is selling cauliflower pizza. I'm just making that very clear. Okay. So just really quickly, we did take on the Women's Club this year, which is really exciting. So I'll get this going. I've been in the community for almost 20 years. I've taught a nutrition program for 10 years. That's my co-pilot right there. I'm gonna skip through some of these, whatever. He's out in the car right now. I am the crazy guy that lives in town, in downtown Thomasville with donkeys, okay? But I'm a foster parent. So I use the donkeys to work with foster kids. Foster kids go through a lot. They have seen a lot. And I'm gonna tell you, if you wanna bring a child back, get them communicating, get them speaking, you give them the simple responsibility of a small donkey. And without even having to give them the responsibility, you will see that child come back alive, which is really kind of powerful. This is my biggest inspiration on earth. Dr. Williams was kidding with me earlier, but I'm from Hamlet, North Carolina. I've been in Thomasville for 20 years. My dad was Panamanian. My mom's a redneck, and put those two together, this is what you get. Okay? Because I do get that question quite often. What are you? I've gotten it my whole life. And that's what I am. So whatever that is, that's what I am, which is really awesome. My dad is a big motivator for me as to why I run as hard as I do. I lost my dad when he was 37 to his first heart attack, just a few days before Christmas, and nobody saw it coming. Okay, that's what motivates me to share nutrition and wellness and health and teach people to take little steps to big changes. It's not about leaps, it's about little steps. And I think that goes for the community as well. Progress is progress, better is better. And if we can truly say I was better today than I was yesterday, guess what? We're going to make it, which is really awesome. On your table, that is banana pudding. It is healthy, by the way. Danger alert. It was sweetened with figs. Okay, so there's actually absolutely no sweetener but figs. So if you like that, haha, you like something healthy. That's really cool. Okay. Let's do this picture real quick here. Got a lot of things here. There we go. Right here. Like she was mentioning, I'm very excited about the historic buildings. I'll show you my house in just a second. But I'm a part of the Historic Preservation Committee. We had a very passionate meeting last night. You should have been there. You would think this was probably the most boring committee to be a part of, but buddy, in the last 12 months, my microphone went away. No one. In the last 12 months, I was back. It just came back. I heard it come back on. But in the last 12 months, there's been a lot of passion because that committee is key to what Amy was talking about when it comes to the downtown movement. Okay, we want to get recognized as that, and this historic commission is very, very important. We are what oversee all the historic homes in downtown Thomasville. I've lived in the downtown area for 15 years. These homes on Spring Street, have you noticed up Elliott Street how much prettier it's gotten over the last couple of years? Okay, it's cleaned up. Have you noticed that Spring Street is moving down this way? We got a little congestion down here, but these homes just got bought. We have people who are purchasing these homes, want to renovate, want to put their efforts in. And one thing people weren't realizing is that they were in a historic district. That is very important because that is a game changer. And it's not a homeowners association, but there's rules, there's regulations, because we want to protect that. But I do think I knew Bill Colonia. He gave me permission to do this great house up here on the corner. This house right here, okay? That's the house that I bought almost 15 years ago. It had a tree growing through it, okay? At that time, we had a historic preservation committee. They were doing what they could, and I love everything they were doing. I went to Charlotte Sears. I went to Bill Colonia with my grandfather because I was waiting tables at that time and didn't know what a historic commission was. And we talked about what the options were. Now, there is something about preserving a home, but when you've let a home fall down and walls are falling down and trees are growing through it, that is not preservation. Okay, there is a difference. And so I love that we got to sit down and we got to discuss a plan of action. We mimicked the grid of the windows because at that point, every window was busted out. Okay, and we've done a lot of good with that home. And there's a really nice couple that lives in there now because I was crazy and sold it. Okay, and I worked really hard inside this house. What's going on? What's going on? Oh, it's reading all my words. Oh, okay. You can never trust Siri. I know, right? But we worked really hard in this house, and it took me onto the post office because I have lived downtown. I was one of those people who said, "Why does this post office look like this? Why won't someone do something about it? Oh my gosh, what's up with these banana trees? They're older than me, and they're dead on the sidewalks." Da, 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 da. Did you know we didn't have a handicap ramp at our post office? We do now. Did you know we had 14 busted windows at our post office? We don't now. You know, little things like that. And I said, you know what, instead of being one of those people, why not do something about it? So I wrangled my friends like Jen and like Beth and some other people, and I said, let's do something about it. And we did. We weren't trying to get recognition for it. If I'm lying, it's going to be posted, I guess, whatever. And we've done a lot of amazing work at the post office, so much so that the Postmaster General, not the Postmaster, but the Postmaster General said he received 70 letters, not emails. I love this, that letters were sent in talking about they appreciate all the hard work the staff at the post office have been doing to clean up the post office. And so that's wonderful. Thank you so much. It really did mean a lot, but so much so that now the post office is ready to spend some money, which is awesome. To get the federal government, because it's not city property, this is federal property, much different approach. But they're wanting to do something. They're actually making a donation to PACE, which is really exciting. They're going to help with that project. Right here are the bomb shelters, which we're gonna do something really cool on. So we're gonna probably paint postage stamps on the bomb shelters. If you've never seen them, they're kind of cool. If you have any other suggestions, ideas, definitely let me know. We found this last night at the historic and on the fourth floor of the city council, of the city hall. This is the original negative. We have the actual negatives of the post office. What it looked like, how it used to function, all these different things. Like, it's so crazy to think that parking used to be right in front of the building. Okay, which is really, which is really kind of cool. And so from that, we did start a nonprofit. This building was presented to me by city council, by people of the community, and other people who've done things amazing with the buildings. This building will continue to be a nonprofit space. Every dollar generated in this space goes back into our community. But to put the amount of money that this community needs, we have to generate money. Okay, money is very important, but I like that we're spending it in the right places, doing things to beautify Thomasville. So we want to reimagine, rebuild, and rebuild, and educate people about historic downtown Thomasville. We're starting a front door project to put a historic front door on every home in the historic district of Thomasville, if they want one, which I think they should want one. Get the apartment doors, get the broken down doors off, because if you'll just put a nice front door on these homes, you'd be amazed at what changes really quickly. We've had a lot of events here since we took over the building, which is really nice to see the community come in here and do great things. And I am very passionate about this building because this is Marion Dillon, who lived in my house before I did. She raised her family. She was raised in that house, and her wedding photo right here was taken in T-Bird. And because she got married in this building. Never ever did I ever think I'd be tied to this building the way I am, but it's a full circle moment because now I live in Otis and Hazel's home, who Hazel was the president, and Otis and Hazel helped financially with this building for quite a few years as well. According to the records Otis Honeycutt left me. I mean, I have more records in my home that Otis Honeycutt collected and gathered. I mean, it should be a museum in itself. It's pretty amazing. But these are the kind of pictures that were stored in the attic of that house, that if I wouldn't have opened up a wall, I'd never found them. But these are the kind of pictures that I want to bring back into this. So if you've gotten married here, if you've had a reception here, please let me know, because I'd love to share your picture and display it in our space, which would be really awesome. And just finding some really cool legacy stuff that's upstairs in the women's club, which we've cleaned out the whole upstairs, the whole 3,000 square feet that's upstairs. Holy moly, there was a lot of stuff up there as well. And just because I'm speeding along, we are going to announce a new garden. And I get really excited. We're going to have a day of service March 8th. March 8th, we have 35 DDCC employees that are coming to help paint the post office, to kind of revitalize the post office a little bit. We're going to do the women's club, and we're also going to add communities and schools to our garden project. Okay. Here's a little FYI. This means a lot to me, this project, but those two people right there mean a lot to me as well. I used to wait on them at Ruby Tuesday when I was just a server, and they were always really nice, and they're pretty decent tippers too, which is really nice too. But it means a lot. We've done a lot in this space with Pink Day and everything else that we do with fundraising, so I thought it was only appropriate that we continue down Guilford. That'll benefit the farmers market, other economic development down East Guilford. So we're excited to work with y'all on that as well. So. And last but not least, if you would like to sponsor a garden space or a tree, because we're wanting to put not hydrangea bushes, but hydrangea trees throughout the community. They are very beautiful, and they get 4 seasons of interest, which is also important too, because in the winter time, it kind of gets sad. So it's really nice when you can find something that you can plant that gives interest all 12 months of the year. But there are hydrangea trees that we would like to put into the community, post office, women's club, cities and schools, and other places as we work with the town to figure out where we can place those. But if you want to do one in memory of someone or as a legacy to your family, please let us know. You can also sponsor a small garden space.
How much y'all have?
125. 125. You get your plaque, and you'll get recognized as the family, the person that donated to that cause, which is really kind of awesome. And those are just a couple of the garden spaces that we've done. It was amazing. We found those bicycles in the bomb shelters of the post office. If you've never been down there, it's a really fascinating place to go down in the bomb shelter. We found because they built up the facade where the PO boxes are. So Candace, the postmaster, took me on a tour, and there's the Declaration of Independence behind glass. I don't think it's the original one, but I'm not sure. But it's behind plate glass on display. It's the Bill of Rights, all this kind of stuff that used to be on display at the post office. So now we're turning the inside of our historic John F. Kennedy 1962 post office into a mini museum. It's gonna be red, white, and blue, featuring local artists, all kinds of good stuff like that, which is really awesome. So, and then last but not least, these are the events that we have coming up in this space. People always ask me, how can we support you? Word of mouth is what I need. Okay. I think social media is great. I think liking a post is always nice, but speaking life, speaking light, speaking positivity about a project, I think is the best thing you can ever do for it. And so we are going to launch a class here for the next 56 days. We have something called the Pirate Invasion, which is really fascinating. Think of a Renaissance festival, but with pirates and mermaids and ogres and all that, and they will take over the space. They think this building looks like a pirate ship. If you look around, it kind of does. And the reason the candles were changed out, I didn't know they were doing this right away, which cracked me up, is an 11-year-old thought this looked like Harry Potter world, what is that, Hogwarts or whatever inside here. So she wants to have her 11th birthday party in this space.
Right.
And then the twins from Harry Potter actually did a recording as a favor for revealing for this 11-year-old's birthday party. And she doesn't know this, but he's going to send her the application to join Hogwarts and all this. It's going to be played on the screen. She's probably going to geek out and freak out because the twins are going to welcome her into Hogwarts, which is really kind of awesome. So, and then we have the keynote speaker for the American Heart Association that will be right here in this space, Deanna Latson. She's been an amazing mentor of mine for almost a decade. This is a free event. If you are someone who knows somebody with heart disease, diabetes, weight loss, or just wanting to have education, because I think that's really where the power is, I welcome you to join in with these events. So that's all I've got. Thank you so much.
That's
and,
all.
I'm excited.
Well, there's nothing going on in Thomasville. Woe is me, sky is falling. Appreciate Tammy and Steve taking time to share some of those exciting things. If there's anybody or any bodies in this community that can move this stuff forward, it's you two. And so I appreciate all you've done and all you're going to do. I love hearing about the partnerships that continue in our community, tourism, PACE, historic preservation, the city, etc. Paul tourism, especially for that $25,000. Going towards that. I know cameras in here for us, and I think we got 2 board members. So it's awesome. The partnership is what it's going to take to keep this stuff going. I believe Thomasville's best days are ahead, even though that may be contrary to popular belief. But folks will begin to believe that as they see more and more of this. So awesome. I'm really excited about this stuff.